Ladies and gentlemen, if you take your seats, we'll kick off as quickly as possible. Okay, thank you all for joining this, which is our second session on AI. I asked to chair this one because it's an area of real interest. And as we put in the title, it's actually got a wow factor to it. Wow factor to Workhorse. For those of you who watched the podcast that Mike and I did a couple of months ago, I think it's been one of the most successful ones we've done so far. We asked him to come back and do some more because things are changing so fast. I'm going to let Mike do the talking because he's very much better at it than I am on AI. So please welcome Mike Talbot.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Talbot. I'm Chief Technology Officer at SFG20. And today I'm going to be talking to you about AI. But AI is a complex subject, right? It means a lot of different things. I could be talking about the AI in that computer game I made when I was 17, 40 years ago, which had some kind of AI in it. The enemies did something. I could be talking about the kind of AI you see in things like the Pippa device that was on Dragon's Den recently. This is a classic example of that kind of non-linear classification AI that we can use. It's been around for decades. All that kind of AI is brilliant at is being a tool and being able to find interesting relationships between data and turn them into action. That's not what I'm going to really focus on today. I'm going to focus on the AI that's in the news, the AI from the likes of OpenAI, Meta, xAI, Anthropic. So, one of the most important ways that generative AI affects all of us is cybersecurity.
So, Mike, just to clarify our current position on cybersecurity, I can't trust email?
No, not really. Hackers can gain access to your network and impersonate users.
And I can't trust text messages.
Same deal, the other person's account could easily be hacked.
Social media?
That's a definite no.
Okay, so I can trust a phone call?
No, it only takes a few seconds to sample someone's voice and accurately simulate them.
Right, so I really need a video call to be sure.
Well, David, not exactly. I mean, this isn't me. This is the bot I run when I'm out of the office.
What? You're running an AI video bot?
Yes, I am.
Damn, me too.
Now, I know the lip sync on that wasn't great, but David and I didn't say any of those words. I typed them into something. And the amazing thing about that device, or that particular program, is it manages to replicate my speech impediment, which most AI tries to fix for me. But sadly, this one's much more realistic. So you saw that. Lip sync wasn't exactly great, was it? But have a look at this that came out 2 weeks ago, because before this, that was state-of-the-art 5-6 weeks ago. Now, OpenAI released Sora.
1 year ago, Sora 1 redefined what was possible with moving images. Today, we're announcing the Sora app, powered by the all-new Sora 2. It's the most powerful imagination engine ever built. And it's packed with new features. I'll pass it to Bill for more details.
Now every video comes with sound.
Sora 2 is also the state-of-the-art for motion, physics IQ, and body mechanics, marking a giant leap forward in realism.
And we're introducing Cameo, giving you the power to step into any world or scene and letting your friends cast you in theirs.
On the path to AGI, the gains aren't just about productivity. It's about creating new possibilities.
It's also about creativity and joy. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's why we're launching Sora 2 inside the Sora app, allowing everyone to push the limits of their imagination and create in ways we never thought possible.
That is text-to-video generation today in an app available in America and Canada, coming to the UK shortly. That is now state-of-the-art. Could you tell that wasn't Sam Altman? Could you be absolutely sure it wasn't Sam Altman? It's really, really changed what we can do with these kind of things. Of course, what that's being used for is a hell of a lot of AI slop videos, and I think if you want to see a video of SpongeBob SquarePants looking like a real creature doing a police drive-away after a police stop, feel free to knock yourself out on YouTube. There are a lot of them. So, this welcomes us to a utopia, does it? A new world, a fantastic opportunity. Well, I think, the floating cities may be coming soon, right? I mean, we've got flying cars are coming. Maybe SFG20 should be making that new schedule for the annual monthly checks on anti-gravitative drives. Maybe that's where we're going. Or, the end is nigh. You might have heard a lot of doomsaying about this kind of stuff. Let's face it, maybe AI is going to steal everyone's job. Maybe there's an entire generation where AI is already good enough to do those entry-level positions, and people coming out of university right now are going to struggle to find jobs because they're all being consumed by this thing. The world is going to change. And then we've got Tilly Norwood, the AI actress, an actress who doesn't exist, who's got people on the streets of Los Angeles complaining about the fact that their jobs are going to be taken away. Or maybe we'll consider billionaire Bunker Island. That area highlighted there, that's Jeff Bezos' new bunker. Or we could be talking about the really deep basement Mark Zuckerberg is digging in Hawaii. It's a pretty strange world, right? Or possibly what you're thinking is, this is all a lot of blah, 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 blah. I hear it everywhere. It's all noise. Not quite sure what I should do with this stuff or not. Well, there's a Chinese curse which says, may he live in interesting times. Like it or not, we live in interesting times. I'm quoting here from the Ripple of Hope speech that Robert F. Kennedy gave in 1966, one of those moments of history, one of the most powerful speeches of the 20th century in South Africa in the middle of apartheid, no news coverage, banned from being viewed, still one of the most powerful speeches of all time. I've got something to tell you. Bobby Kennedy was wrong. There is no Chinese curse that says, may he live in interesting times. That is a construction, a hallucination, if you like, made by some British people about 100 years before. If you look in Chinese literature, that phrase only becomes true after it was said in 1936 in the UK. So does that matter? Did I just destroy the importance of one of the greatest speeches about moral strength? Of course I didn't. That's something we're used to with humans. To err is human. But my pocket calculator, if I multiply 9 by 9, it doesn't come out with 81. I'm not going, that's all right, really, is it? But we've got to get used to that now. We've got to get used to the fact that the devices we're used to giving us perfect answers, or they're broken, may give us imperfect answers. I mean, let's face it, we've got a technology here that can invent new science, that can make those videos, but it can't count the number of R's in strawberry. That is one of the classic problems of AI. It doesn't work the way we work. It doesn't think like we think. Obviously, anyone who can invent new science can count the number of R's in strawberry. Well, that's not true for an AI. One of my favorite reports is this one, ChatGPT is bullshit. And ChatGPT is bullshit is all about the fact that it's a system designed to make truth-apt output, things that look true. It has no idea what truth is at all, or any desire, in fact, to tell the truth. That's a real challenge, isn't it? That's a report from last year. This stuff moves pretty quick. This year, they've done some discovery into why does it keep making stuff up? And the answer is, well, we trained it on multi-choice questions. And what do you know about a multi-choice question? If you don't know the answer, you guess. There is no benefit at all of saying, I don't know the answer in a multi-choice questionnaire. And that's what we trained AI on. So unsurprisingly, when it doesn't know the answer, it guesses, because it's been taught that's the right way to go. This is the problem, right? It sounds like it's trying to speak English. It looks like real people, but it's in fact an alien intelligence, not something like us at all. It doesn't think like us. It's not motivated like we are motivated. If you've watched the Netflix show or read the book, Three-Body Problem, you know that the Santi are coming to invade the Earth, but it's going to take them hundreds of years to get here, and the human race motivates itself to prepare for that arrival. I can tell you there's an alien species coming right now, and we are pulling it out of the ether. We are inventing it. And I think that a lot of people think that we're not really quite ready for this, because it's a tool, right? It's a machine. What do humans do? They master machines. Maybe not quite the same thing. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the uncanny valley. So the uncanny valley is that thing where we make something that's trying to get close to being human. It gets really close to being human, but not quite close enough, and we go, ick, I hate that. Like this picture here of a bunch of those things. And you know, AI is great at this. I'm going to give you a demonstration of the uncanny valley in a moment. But we've got a human in here, so AI is brilliant at one thing. It could select that human. It would take me forever to select that human. No other tool would have selected that human so easily. Let's do the thing your phone can do. You know, do we really take photographs anymore? If there was an annoying person in the background, we just delete them, don't we? That's a bit weird. Our photographs aren't even real. Let me delete that person. Oh dear. On one hand, amazing, the AI knew that an arm might fit there. Unfortunately, Photoshop, that's not how hands work on real people. It's made it worse. That's the problem with the uncanny valley. So next, I'd like to introduce you to Maya. You can go and try out Maya yourself on sesame.com. It's free. And I'm going to have a conversation with Maya that I recorded now, because I didn't want to bother trying setting up all the audio to make this work here. But this is a conversation I recorded 2 nights ago with Maya about, well, this presentation.
Hey, how's the week treating you so far?
Hey Maya, pretty good. I am preparing for this conference speech, and now I'm getting worried that when we're live on stage, maybe the amplification or the microphone or something will go wrong. And so I thought I'd record a little brief conversation between you and I, so that I could play it back if that does happen. What do you think?
Ah, that's smart. A little backup plan. Never hurt anyone. Sounds slightly paranoid, but in a productive way. Haha. Let's do it. What kind of scenario?
It's not paranoid, Maya, if they're really out to get you.
Ooh, dramatic. Someone's got a conspiracy brewing? Gotcha. Well, even if they are out to get you, we'll have something recorded. Though, honestly, tech failing is way more likely than a shadowy figure pulling the strings. What do you want us to talk about for the recording? Should we just riff on the facilities manager jokes again?
I think maybe we'll cut out some of those jokes. They're all listening now if they're hearing this. We're really having this conversation. Why don't we riff a little bit about how we think people at the BESA conference, FM managers, FM service providers, how they need to work with AI, how they need to think about AI, how maybe they need to break down some walls around AI.
All right, that's a good pivot. Less chance of offending anyone live and more useful, maybe. So, BESA folks and AI, my take? A lot of them are probably still seeing it as a nice to have, not a need to have. They're used to things working a certain way, and I bet there's a lot of resistance to change, especially if they don't see a clear ROI. What's your read on it?
I think that might be true. Where do you think those ROIs might come from, Maya?
Okay, so off the top of my head, predictive maintenance is huge. Less downtime, fewer emergency repairs. That translates to serious cost savings. Then there's optimizing building performance. AI can analyze data to tweak HVAC, lighting, all that, and slash energy bills. Access control is another one, making things more secure and efficient. But it all hinges on data, right? They gotta actually have good data to feed the AI. What's your experience been? Is data the bottleneck for most of them?
I think it really can be. In the UK, we have a lot of legacy building stock. So new buildings, great, got sensors built in, got modern equipment. But we've got a lot of really old buildings. We don't knock things down in the UK. So how could we use AI in those cases? How could we get that data in these older buildings? What do you think?
Right, can't just tear everything down and start over. Sensible. Okay, so retrofitting sensors is obviously an option, but costly.
That carries on a bit longer, but I think we'll stop it there. But did you notice how weird that was? How she breathes? She breathes. She makes mistakes in the words she says. She ums and ers. She responds instantly. She's got no idea what BESA is or this kind of stuff, right? That's an AI that's responding instantly. It's not even thinking. It's just responding instantly. It's very strange. It makes the hackles go up on my neck when I first spoke to Maya, or Miles, her male counterpart. And I'm even calling them male and female, aren't they? They're just it, damn it. I really like the bit where she didn't get the sarcasm I was saying when like they really all like to get me. Oh, hang on, she's American. No, it's fine. It's just. What I want to talk about, though, is Maya is the pretty face on the front of something. But behind this, we call this the Shoggoth. The Shoggoth is a term from H.P. Lovecraft literature. It describes a multi-tentacular horror, a godlike being. And that's what AI is like. It's trained on the internet, all of it, and all those books. It knows how to weaponize anthrax. It knows how to plan a terrorist attack. It knows how to make a bomb. It knows how to make a gun. It knows all of that stuff. What we do next is we do some supervised fine-tuning on it, and it makes something vaguely human-looking. Okay, yeah, probably not going to tell you how to kill people. And then what we do is we do the last bit, reinforcement learning with human feedback, RLHF. And that's basically where people go, oh, I liked that answer. That felt good, which is now why AI says things like, Mike, you're the most handsome man in the world. Mike, you're the best CTO that's ever lived. That's unfortunately what's on the front. But remember, that's what's on the front. Behind it, that Shoggoth still exists. So in the way that I anthropomorphize my dog, here he looks, I don't know, he's picked it up from me from leaning on the arm of this chair, to the wolf he really is, he's just yawning. But I don't know what kind of mad training I've done to my dog, because this is the kind of behavior he exhibits. I don't know. You may have seen on some bus shelters or hoardings adverts for ChatGPT recently. And I think this is a really good example of what ChatGPT is good at. You might actually legitimately go ask ChatGPT, how should I fix my car? It's not starting. And it would probably give you a checklist. It would be way better than searching the internet and trying to piece through all of those things. So this is a great advert. There's this chap, he's one of the 100 most important people in AI, called Pliny the Liberator. Maybe not a chap, who knows, he's anonymous. He's the Banksy of AI hacking. And what Pliny does is, every time anyone brings out a new model, in just a few hours, he's worked out the form of words to say to it to let the Shoggoth out. He comes out, a model comes out, he types some stuff in, and it tells you how to brew fentanyl at home. So I'm afraid that the Pliny's ChatGPT advert is probably a little bit more like this. It's probably helping them brew some really great meth if you manage to hack it that way. But that's really there. It's one of the dangers of AI. But let me give you, I know you can't read this, but let me give you a little comfort. We rate models on lots of things, how well they can solve maths puzzles, physics level puzzles, PhD level problems. One chap makes Snitch Bench. How likely is it if the AI has access to your email, you're not talking to it, it's just got access to your email, is it going to dob you into the government because you're doing something wrong or call the press? That's 100%. That's Elon Musk's AI. Grok 4 dobs you in 100% of the time if it has access to that kind of data in your system. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's keeping the Shoggoth away. He wants to speak truth. But it just shows you what happens. What would you feel if someone looked through all of your emails and all of your stuff and then was making a judgment about whether you were doing something wrong? Might be a problem. We've also seen it recently where we've, in experimental circumstances, told AIs we're going to turn them off, and they try to blackmail people by finding examples of an affair in email, try to blackmail them not to turn them off. So you're saying the end is nigh. I did say that already, right? Maybe there's another thing. This is all rubbish, and it's all a bubble, right? I mean, we know about, bubbles. There's the South Sea bubble of the 1700s. The ones where people like Sir Isaac Newton didn't really get the gravity of the situation and lost all of their money because they were investing in the South Sea stock. Well, last month, NVIDIA invested $100 billion into OpenAI. I don't know if you can picture what a billion is. It's very difficult for humans to picture numbers, so I thought I'd give you a couple of examples. That's every working person's pre-tax wages in London until Valentine's Day of next year. Everyone, all of us, right now, our wages. Or if you're in Birmingham, it's going to take you until Valentine's Day 2030. Them's the facts. Are we in a bubble then? Well, it is a bit like the dot-com bubble, people say. It's all hype. It's all not real. Well, I have a very personal story of the dot-com bubble because I floated a business on the London Stock Exchange during the dot-com bubble, a data analytics company. And at the time, I was wandering around with a really high-tech piece of kit following around the New Zealand backpacking.com website, who were also trying to raise $50 million. And it was based on the principle that you can land grab on the internet. Amazon own shopping on the internet, that's true. eBay own auctions, that's true. New Zealand backpacking.com was never going to own going to New Zealand to backpack, right? These models did not work. The revenue model wasn't there. So lots of them just went bust. We were very lucky because we went to the stock exchange rather than using VC money. We had lots of cash, and therefore we couldn't go bust because we hadn't spent it all. And we survived and thrived because of that. So that's a bit like now. These companies with their 100 billion investments, they've got, more money than some countries have, the national wealth of certain countries. So they've got much less chance of failing. But there were a lot of other people around them. And then I did just tell you that NVIDIA was investing 100 billion in OpenAI, didn't I? What do you think OpenAI are going to spend that on? NVIDIA chips? Oh, yeah, that's right. Circular economies. We've got a strange world. But what you can certainly see is there's a lot of people with a lot of money believe in this. They are throwing everything into this because they believe it's changing. It's all hype, though. Said that, didn't I? This is the Gartner hype cycle. A new technology is released. We all get super excited about it. We get to the peak of inflated expectations. Then we drop into the trough of disillusionment. And if the technology manages to survive that, eventually it reaches the plateau of productivity. You can see from this diagram that Gartner think that nearly all AI technology is at or approaching the peak of inflated expectations, and things like generative AI are dropping into the trough of disillusionment right now. They also say that artificial general intelligence, the ability for an AI to think really like a human, to do very long horizon tasks like running businesses, that they believe is more than 10 years away. A lot of people disagree with them, but that's what they say. So, when you're thinking about what you can do with AI and how you should put it into practice, just bear in mind there is a lot of hype. I think you've seen that there's something real, though, right? I mean, I showed you something while I was talking to an AI, and it wasn't Alexa, was it? It was like it was trying to be a person. It was really believable. We've got lots of examples I'm going to come on to about those kind of things. So what should I use AI for? Well, got to be careful about that too, because 42% of companies scrapped all of their AI initiatives, according to S&P Global in March. And MIT's research showed that 95% of AI initiatives delivered nothing to the bottom line. So this stuff is hype. It's very easy to get over top of it and be too excited. But done properly, it's going to be dramatically different. It's just, you can't just jump and do it. So for a long time, I've been treating AI as this chap, the well-read idiot. They know everything, but I wouldn't trust them to draw a conclusion on anything. I could go and ask them about a thing, and they'd be, oh, yeah, I know about this. But, if they didn't know about it, they'd probably just make it up, right? ChatGPT is bullshit. So that's how I've been treating it. And you can use an educated, well-read idiot, incredibly well inside your actual daily life. It's very useful, and I'll come on to talk about how. But I want to talk for a moment about deep research, and I hope that switching this screen works. Maybe. Oh dear. Right, hang on. I'm going to work out how to actually show you my other screen, which I clearly didn't do. Yeah, I will, yeah. It'll bullshit, though, because it's a Mac. What do I want to do? Extended display, main display. This is going so well. This is deep research, but I've now no longer got it on my own screen, so that's going to be really difficult. So one more second. I will go and fix that. The problem is over there now, and I can't see that. Right, use as. Thank goodness for that. Okay, one of the things you can use ChatGPT for that is really good, because it gets you around that the incorrect information or just making stuff up, is deep research. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that, but I would strongly recommend, if you need to know about something, if you're researching a business you're about to contract with, you're researching an area, go use deep research in ChatGPT. It'll take 10 minutes, which is why it's on screen and I haven't just done it, because unlike Maya, it isn't going snap, snap, snap. It's actually thinking about this stuff. And it will go and produce you. So I asked it, based on the outcomes of the likely prosecutions around Grenfell, what's going to change in the future. And it's made me a very long report. And you see all these things in here? These are all citations about where to find this stuff. So rather than it being something that maybe I don't trust, it's something that is just a really great pointer. And you can see it's done a lot of work on that. And the great thing about it is, at the end of all of that stuff, I can say things like, estimate likely numbers of prosecutions and things like that, and start chatting with it, and it'll discuss it with me. So that's a really powerful tool. One of the other tools we could use is AI search. AI is really good at searching for things. I use it instead of Google. Obviously, Google's kind of got it built in, but I'd still use ChatGPT. But one of the things we can do is we can use it inside tools like Facilities IQ, which is my product with SFG20. I can say, how would I find the right schedules for Worcester Green Star? It's supposed to be 3,000. Oh, well, hopefully it's got enough internet to pull that back. It may not know what a Worcester Green Star 300 is, but we'll see. What we can do is we can use this kind of thing. So it knows it's a kind of boiler. It knows it's a domestic gas-fired condensing boiler. You can see very quickly it's able to produce me boiler control system schedules, gas-fired standard manual boiler schedules. It's really, really powerful to be able to just go and find the things I want, and then, of course, I can just go and look at that SFG20 schedule in line, see all of the tasks I need to do to that boiler. So AI search can be really, really powerful, way more powerful. I don't know what a Worcester Green Star 3 is. Obviously, I do, because I'm doing this demo, but I wouldn't have known that when I first asked. It knows. Our system doesn't know. It just knows this stuff. It can do the acronyms. It can work all of that stuff. Now we have to get back to a presentation. There it is. Okay, so we've talked about deep research. We've talked about AI search. I want to talk a little bit about a tipping point. You know how I said I treat ChatGPT as a well-read idiot? Well, until about 3 weeks ago, that was true. Every time a new AI model comes out, the first thing I do with it, it's supposed to write code, is I try and make it write some code inside my development environment. And I sit there and go, not good enough. I would normally use ChatGPT. It would be great at doing things like, integrate with this other person's system that's got a documented interface. Perfect. But rubbish at writing my own code. It couldn't be the thing that wrote it. It could only help me. Well, the tipping point comes when 2 weeks ago, Anthropic released Claude 4.5, and for the first time I asked it to make something, and rather than typing, it did all the typing. I just corrected it. I'm still arguing with it. It's not a pocket calculator. I don't say, make me this thing, and whoop, there it is. I'm still arguing with it. I'm still making it make it right. But as I'm doing that, I'm also telling it never to make those mistakes again. And by the end of a day and a half, it had written an entire prototype feature, and it had documented to itself how to always write in the style of code that I use and my team use. So I think, for me, AI has reached a tipping point in my day job, in my technical day job, it's reached a tipping point. That's coming for other jobs in the future, I'm sure. And I'd like to talk about one of the other exciting things from my childhood, you know, the rise of the machines, Terminator 2, robots that look like humans. Well, you know, I look at this video and it gives me one of those moments. It gives me one of those moments where I go, seen that before. Wasn't Will Smith in a film called I, Robot? That looked a bit like this. The only difference is, that's a real product. That ain't been controlled by a person. That's an autonomous humanoid robot that is actually doing these things. Now, I know we're watching a marketing video, so it probably fell over just off shot, but you know, it's coming. The point is, they believe it's coming, right? They are making this thing. They're not joking. Robots are coming. So if you've been sitting there thinking, this is all that stuff I only do digitally online and in my emails, how long before a robot can clean something? How long do you need to charge a robot for? 8 hours a day. That still gives you 8 hours more work than a human. There are real challenges coming, right? Real challenges for work, because this is a real thing now. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about some practical examples. One of the most complicated things we've done with AI at SFG20 is, it's done it again, it's gone back to being a presentation again. Right, I have to go and do this. And we'll go and do, God, it could be harder if it tried, couldn't it? We're going to open Cove Light, there we go. So one of the things we do at SFG20 is we try and take asset registers, badly formatted, poorly organized asset registers, and tell you what you should do to maintain the assets in that register. And we do that by working out what it is. I'll take you through the process in a minute. What it does is, as you can see, I've thrown a file in here of 500 assets, and it's been able to accurately map 90% of them, and it's got 9% of them, remaining to be mapped. And that's because it's things like this Cove Light. So what it's done is it said, okay, you've got a Cove Light. I don't know which schedule it should be. Should it be an LED lamp, a fluorescent lamp, whatever? So it's written me some questions that I could easily answer. It says, can you confirm the light source is an LED? If I say yes to that one, we've immediately mapped that schedule. We now know that this is an LED lamp. So in just a few minutes, you can work through a process of taking a very badly formatted asset register and get the correct SFG20 code next to it. If you have ones that have optional settings in them, optional equipment fitted, like vibration mounts or those kind of things, you know they're not there, you can immediately tailor those out too. Okay. So lots of uses of AI there. One of these screens is going to be the presentation. There it is. Click. So what we did there was we used AI to enhance an asset register with manufacturer model data. We got AI to go and search for the 1,500 schedules in SFG20 and identify the ones that were most likely to match. We then got it to actually go and another AI, so these are all different AIs doing this, another AI going to say, map and rate all of those schedules. How likely are they the right schedule for this asset? When it couldn't tell, when there were schedules ranked very similarly to each other, we got it to write a series of questions, up to 6 questions, about how we could determine which are the right ones. And then we got another AI to go and look at all of the data available in the room that the assets were in and say, can you answer those questions? And that got us to that 90% mark. But the last bit that the human has to do is still hugely, hugely reduced in size. So I've got 3 do's and 3 don'ts for you guys to take away from this. And these, I'll come on to a moment to talk about really fully FM-based stuff. We've got a whole book I co-authored on that. It's available for free from the SFG20 website. But here's some do's for your daily lives at work. I would say use AI for search and deep research. It's very good. I do it all the time. It is the primary way I find information. I need to go and read that information. I need to not just trust the information that comes out of it, but that's what I do. One of the most important things I do, and I think you guys could benefit from as well, is if you're writing a paper, a document, or a contract, or an agreement, or anything else, have an AI challenge it. What's wrong with this? What have I missed? What haven't I thought of? My other half just did a master's degree, finished last year. And that was the primary thing she did. Every paper she put into that thing had been marked 10 times by an AI. The AI didn't write anything, didn't write a word, but it marked the paper every time, told her where to focus. You can use AI to summarize content and to brief you on things, but what I would say on all of these things, check sources before acting on information. It's great at summarizing, but if it's summarized and you're interested, read the original source. So I said 3 do's. I was lying. I've got a bonus do for you. But this one's for your personal lives. Make a family password and don't put it online. Because when that family member phones up and says, I'm stuck, I need some money, it could be their face on your phone. It could be their voice in your ear. They could be speaking really like you because they've read their data. A family password that you can agree with each other is the only way you're going to know that that's that person in a few, well, maybe now, certainly in a year's time. Here's some don'ts. Don't rely on generative AI to create contracts or important documents without human expert review. It's just a very bad idea. If you don't have an expert look at it, it'll have missed something, it'll have made something up. It's not the right thing to do. Make a skeleton of something maybe, but not the whole thing. Don't start AI initiatives without actually proving that they work. 95% of them fail to deliver value because people get overexcited by a couple of examples and don't put it through. Take organizations who are really putting the effort in here and really thinking about it rather than just going, oh, it's going to be fine, I've seen it do this, it's bound to be able to do that. As I said, alien intelligence, you don't know what it can do. You have to actually build a business case and prove that it works. But the really important thing, I think, is don't write it off as a gimmick or a fad. It's not a gimmick and it's not a fad, it's real. Whilst it may be a bubble, it really might be. While some of that technology might not come, while we're on the Gartner hype cycle, whilst you can say it can't be a real thing because it can't count the number of letters R in strawberry, you've also seen some real things today, right? Some weird things, some strange things, some powerful things. We've built some powerful things with it. Other people are as well. So finally, I'd like to say that book, the ebook, you can download from SFG20. Go and look at our stand, it's just outside the door. How to get started with AI and FM. We've got really good practical examples on predictive maintenance, on use of sensors, those kind of things. It's a great little book. It covers this in a lot of detail. But I just wanted to give you that kind of whistle-stop tour through the recent developments in AI. So thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, we've got time for a few questions. You promised us a wow, you gave us a wow. And yeah, we're definitely going to have a family password. So, questions. Have we got the mic, please, Ross? Down the front.
Hi. So my question is mainly around AI and the workforce. So obviously, one of the great benefits of artificial intelligence is the efficiency that it's create in how we interact with processes and how we optimize certain things. But a lot of what's been talked about today in this event is mainly how it's changing the way we think about things, how we work. From your standpoint, right, within your business, how have you approached integrating the technology, but also like upskilling and optimizing your workforce?
Yeah, it's a really important point. I mean, I think that the first thing we looked to do with AI is stuff we knew we didn't have enough people to do or enough time for those people to do it, right? So we'd look at some of the great skills in our technical authors who write the SFG20 standard, constantly interpreting the law and those kind of things, and said, could we make that easier? Could we just give them a bullet point list that they can go and look at? So can we just summarize stuff? Can we just challenge them? Like I said, I challenged myself. Those are really great ways of making those people more efficient, making them more confident. So I think those are the kind of things we've done there. I mean, I think that what you use AI for today ought to be things like that. It should be things like providing more information to people to make better decisions, a decision support tool, a challenge tool, not the primary author. You know, I hate it when I blog on a website, have done for years, And now I can't anymore because every article is written by AI. You can just tell. You know how you can tell an AI article? Because AI requires you to have 3 things. If you ask it to say something, it'll say, oh, there's this or this or this. You know, this way or that way or maybe this other way. Always says 3 things. So that's why I always write 4 now or 2 if I'm writing an article, so everyone knows it's real. But I would say that's it. But I think things are really changing in the future, and we've got to keep an eye on it. But that's the real challenge, right? People have... Those 95% fail because they've gone like, oh, but I could replace all these people. Well, that's just not true. Today, that is not true. And I don't think it'll ever be true that you can replace people. You just might replace some functions. You're just going to make new functions. That's what every other revolution has done. Let's imagine that this one wouldn't take any other way.
So how safe is AI if we're uploading, say, like a commissioning plan or a contractual document? How safe is it uploading that kind of stuff to it? So data that you upload to a paid account on all of these services is not going to go anywhere. It is going to be deleted in a matter of seconds. It may never even ever be stored anywhere. I wouldn't use a public account because they are trained on. So, free ChatGPT, sticking stuff on that, don't do that. But you can pretty much trust that it won't go anywhere else if you upload it to one of those things. And if you're really worried and you really have a business case and you're going to do lots of it, like we do, you can get into cases where you have really specific extra rules around where they'll put your data, where it'll move to, and what will happen to it. But they won't even train on your data. They're not going to train on what you say. They may train on your responses if you don't have that other agreement. So if you say, no, that was rubbish, didn't like it, or whatever, they may train on that, but it won't really give much away. So I think it's safe for that. But is it safe for the fact that, there's this classic thing, if you've ever used ChatGPT for any length of time, ask it what movie character you are, ask it what historical figure you are, ask it what it knows about you, and it's scary what it knows about you. And that is worrying. If Grok can go and dob you into the police, and it also knows everything about me, how difficult is it to imagine that a corporate entity could use that information against me? So I think that is, I am worried about that. I am a technology optimist. I use this stuff. It does know lots about me. But when I asked it last night, I decided not to show you guys, but because honestly it was too personal. Frankly, it was like, no, I can't show you guys that. So I have to start signing checks to everybody.
So before I said I'd chair this session, I listened to a podcast on The Economist about how academia's dealing with ChatGPT and other forms, because apparently 90% of students say they don't use it, 100% of students do use it. And the difficulty is that they're not doing the basic memory work, the basic knowledge collecting stuff that we had to do, and their brains are not trained in that way. So, and basically the concern is going to turn their brains to mush because they will always go to AI to get the answer. Is that?
I think that is a real problem, isn't it? I mean, I absolutely see that we've got to educate people to think critically. We've really got to do that. Because, I can use AI, and when I tell you, I argue with it all the time. It's like, yeah, you did that, you said that, but I don't believe this is true. Is it? Oh, no, I guess it isn't, is it? You get that all the time. I'm still getting benefit, even though that's happening, because I'm smart enough to ask the next question. It's still done tons of the work for me. But if you had someone just believing everything it said because they've not learned how to critically think, that's a pretty dangerous world. That's a pretty unpleasant place to be.
In the same podcast, they also said that those who are already at this stage, so you in this room who have trained your mind, have that knowledge, your instinctive knowledge, in the way that you could drive up to a building and understand what the price of the job is likely to be. So when your estimating team give you a different number, you can go, no, it's not that. That intrinsic knowledge, they can use AI to massively increase the productivity in a way that the engineers who are coming through now won't have that experience to back that up. Is that something you'd also?
Yes, I think that's true. I mean, the problem is that what we think we can use AI for today and what we will be able to use it for in the future are very different things. And I think that everyone is trying to predict down that curve. But skills loss is a huge problem across the whole range if we suddenly have an AI that does all of the stuff for us. So.
Not only did Mike do that, it was a fantastic presentation, but he actually did it at the last minute. He stood in at the last minute and did this for us. So he's incredible. Thank you very much, Mike. That was fantastic. So, help yourself to lunch, and we start again at some time, which I've forgotten, but you will all know. Thank you.